Genesis chapter 19, the doom of Sodom. It was evening when the two angels came to Sodom. Lot was sitting at Sodom's city gates, seeing them, and Lot got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. And he said, "See here, my lords, please turn aside and come into your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may get up early and go on your way." But they said, "No, we shall spend the night in the open plaza of the city." However, Lot strongly urged them. So they turned aside and entered his house, and he prepared a feast for them with wine, and he baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Because there's a lot of evil, wicked men outside, and if they were going to sleep outside, they were going to do bad things to them. But before they lay down to sleep, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house, all the men from every quarter. And they called out to Lot and said to him, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so that we may know them intimately." But Lot went out of the doorway to the men and shut the door after him and said, "Please, my brothers, do not do something so wicked. See here, I have 2 daughters." And so this is the part that makes no sense. So let's see. It says, "See here, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man intimately. Please let me bring them out to you instead, and you can do as you please with them. Only do nothing to these men, because they have, in fact, come under the shelter of my roof for my protection." But they said, "Get out of my way." And they said, "This man Lot came as an outsider to live here temporarily, and now he is acting like a judge. Now we will treat you worse than your visitors." So they rushed forward and pressed violently against Lot and came close to breaking down the door of his house. But the men, the angels, reached out with their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them and shut the door after him. They struck and punished the man who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, from the young men to the old men, so they exhausted themselves trying to find the doorway. And the 2 men, the angels, asked Lot, "Have you any others here in Sodom? A son-in-law, and your sons and your daughters, whomever you have in the city, take them out of here, for we are destroying this place because the outcry of judgment against them has grown so great before the Lord that the Lord has sent us to destroy and ruin it." So Lot went up and spoke to his sons-in-law who were betrothed and legally promised to marry his daughters, and said, "Get up and get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy it." But to his sons-in-law he appeared to be joking. Well, let's keep reading. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Get up and take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here and go, or we will be swept away in the punishment of the city." But Lot hesitated and lingered. The men took hold of his hands and the hand of his wife and the hands of his 2 daughters, because the Lord was merciful to him for Abraham's sake, and they brought him out and left him outside the city with his family. So the Lord was merciful because of Abraham, praying for him, even though Lot was disobedient in a wicked city. Offering his daughters to let these evil men do things. Just not in his right mind, hesitating, just not trusting God. And what happens? God's like, "Here, let me just get him out of here," right? He's merciful because of Abraham's prayers and Abraham's asking. So don't give up on people that you're praying for that are not saved. Don't give up on people that are lost, because God will have mercy on them, and he can have mercy on them. When they had brought them outside, one of the angels said, "Escape for your life, and do not look behind you or stop anywhere in the entire valley. Escape to the mountains of Moab, or you will be consumed and swept away." But Lot said to them, "Oh no, not that place, my lord. Please listen, your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have magnified your loving kindness to me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, because a disaster will overtake me, and I will be killed. Now look, this town in the distance is near enough for us to flee to, and it's small with only a few people. Please let me escape there. Is it not too small so that my life will be saved?" And the angel said to him, "Behold, I grant you this request also. I will not destroy this town of which you have spoken. Hurry and take refuge there, for I cannot do anything to punish Sodom until you arrive there." For this reason the town was named Zor. It says, few, small. The sun had risen over the earth when Lot came to Zor. Then the Lord rained down brimstone, flaming sulfur, and fire on Sodom and on Gomorrah from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew, demolished, and ended those cities and the entire valley and all the inhabitants of the cities and whatever grew on the ground. But Lot's wife from behind him foolishly, longingly looked back towards Sodom in an act of disobedience, and she became a pillar of salt. Abram started out early the next morning to the place where he, only the day before, had stood before the Lord. And he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the valley of the Dead Sea. And he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land went up like the smoke of a kiln, a pottery furnace. And now when God ravaged and destroyed the cities of the plain of Siddim, he remembered Abraham, and for that reason he sent Abraham's nephew Lot out of the midst of the destruction when he destroyed the cities in which Lot had lived. Lot, so the one that looked back, right? The one that hesitated, looking back, longing for. destroyed because it didn't trust God. Lot is debased. Now Lot went up from Zoar and lived in the mountain together with his 2 daughters, for he was afraid to stay any longer in Zoar, and he lived in a cave with his 2 daughters. The firstborn said to the younger, "Our father is aging, and there's not a man on earth available to be intimate with us in the customary way, so that we may have children. Come, let us make our father drunk with wine, and we will lie with him, so that we may preserve our family through our father." Again, not smart thinking. So they gave their father wine that night, and the firstborn went in and laid with her father, and he did not know when she laid down or when she got up, because he was completely intoxicated. Then the next day the firstborn said to the younger, "Behold, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drunk with wine tonight also, and then you go in and lie with him, so that we may preserve our family through our father." So they gave their father wine that night also, and the younger got up and lay with him, and again he did not know when she lay down or when she got up. Thus both daughters of Lot conceived by their father. The firstborn gave birth to a son, and his name is Moab, and he is the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger also gave birth to a son and named him Ben-Ammi, son of my people. He is the father of the Ammonites to this day. So you're reading things. When you read things like this, like the incest and things, and you're like, the extra wives, and it's like, well, God allowed it. No, these aren't written for us to say God allowed these things. God's telling you a lot that happened, a lot on disobedience in people, and we're going to read a lot more, I'm pretty sure, in the Old Testament here. So this is your daily Bible chapter. We're reading God's Word Monday through Friday. See you tomorrow.